students! In this video, we're going to go over the strings class supply list. I'm going to let you know the items you need for class, and I'll let you know why each item is important. Now, if you're a fourth grader, you're probably getting most, if not all of these supplies for the first time this year. If you're a fifth grader, you probably have most of the supplies still from last year. Either way, it's important to watch this video to be sure you have all the right items for class. Okay, let's get started. The first item on the list is probably the most obvious. You need an instrument to participate in strings class. The instrument options are violin, viola, cello, or string bass. It's important to remember that these instruments come in sizes, so you need to measure yourself and make sure to get the right size. I included an instrument sizing guidelines document on Google Classroom in the Parents Corner, and I also emailed this same document to your parents. Be sure to read the instrument sizing guidelines and measure yourself to get the correct size. You also need a shoulder rest or an end pin anchor to stabilize the instrument in the correct position. Now, if you play the violin or the viola, you need a shoulder rest, and there are two main types. The first type is the sponge shoulder rest that attaches to the back of the instrument with a rubber band. The other type of shoulder rest is more mechanical looking, and it hooks onto the back of the instrument. Either one of these two shoulder rest types is fine for the purposes of our class. Now, if you play the cello or the string bass, you do not need a shoulder rest because those instruments are not held over the shoulder. Instead, you need to stabilize your instrument with an end pin anchor. And again, there are two types. This round type is often referred to as a donut type end pin anchor. This type has a strap, and it's referred to as a strap type end pin anchor. And again, either one of these two types of end pin anchors are fine for the purposes of our class. I included pictures of the two different types of end pin anchors here to give you an idea of how they work. You need them to stabilize your end pin in the correct position on the floor. It prevents the end pin from sliding around back and forth, and it keeps your cello or bass in place. Also, if you have a hardwood floor, the end pin anchor helps protect your floor and keep it from scratching. Next on the list is rosin. Rosin is made from hardened tree sap. You rub it onto the bow hairs, and it makes it so your bow makes a sound on the string. If you do not have rosin on your bow hairs, your bow won't make a sound, so this supply is very important. Now you can see from the pictures that rosin comes in different shapes and sizes. Some are light, some are dark, some are circular, some are rectangle. Any shape or color of rosin is fine for the purposes of our class. You also need to get the strings class textbook. The title of the book is Essential Elements for Strings. Now, it's a very thin book. It's like a workbook, and on the inside it has a lot of songs. And we'll be learning many of these songs in class, so it's important that you get this book. One thing to remember when shopping for the book is that they are instrument specific, meaning you need to get the version of the book that matches the instrument you play. If you play the violin, you need to make sure to get the violin version of the book. You also need a music stand to prop up your book at eye level. Music stands make it possible for musicians to see their music well and maintain good musician posture. If you were to set your book down on a table or on the floor, for example, you would need to bend over to look at it or hunch your shoulders a bit. And this positioning is not good when you're trying to play an instrument, and that is why a music stand is important. Now you may notice that I also included a picture of a piano here. And the reason is because most pianos have a music shelf, and you can see in this picture that there's a book propped up on the piano. If you have a piano with a music shelf, you can use this in place of a music stand. Next on the supply list is the cleaning rag. The cleaning rag is needed to wipe rosin powder off the face of your instrument. When you play with the bow, the rosin forms a dust that falls down onto the face of your instrument. And if you don't clean it off regularly, it can make the front of your instrument sticky, and it can actually ruin the finish. So you want to make sure that you have something to clean your instrument with. Now, it's possible to get a polishing rag that was made specifically to clean string instruments. However, it's also fine to make your own cleaning rag out of an old t-shirt or washcloth. Before you use a t-shirt for a cleaning rag, though, be sure to get your parents' permission. The last item on the list is a name tag. You need some sort of name tag or luggage tag to attach to your instrument case. You'll see when we're back to school that many of the instrument cases look very similar to one another. So it's important to have something to identify your instrument, and so to make sure that you always can keep track of which instrument is yours when they're all lined up outside at school. These are all the supplies you need for strings class. Have fun shopping, students, and I'll see you next time.